Hello and welcome to Lucid's 2025 Dominions Tournament, or at the very least, the situation that I find myself in. There are currently 3 players remaining on the map: the giant war machine of Macone, the cave-loving lizards of Agartha, and the fiery Abysians. This is the nation that I'm currently playing, and for a bit of context, you may be able to tell, but Macone is big. They own a fair deal of the map, control riches from beneath, and are actually just a few turns away from a throne victory. Agartha is on the way out. They've lost a great deal of their forces, and their cap is currently under siege to be taken in just a turn or two. I, myself, am not in a great position to stop any of this. That being said, I'm still scripting, and we're going to go down in a blaze of glory, so I thought it'd be nice to bring you along for the ride. But let's meet the build. This is our pretender at least top 5, the Great Warlock. He is a wonderful caster at Earth 5, Astral 2, Death 2, Nature 2, Glamour 6, and Blood 5. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this guy. You can run him around, cast Earthquake with the Earth. You can also have him do Gifts from Heaven. You can do a lot of the really good buffs that you want on Abyssians, such as Legions of Steel, Gift of Giant Strength, and because you can plug him into Communions, you can even cast Darkness, Relief, any of the high spells that you really want. And if he's not in a Communion, you can use Glamour to cast Poor Man's Darkness with Twilight. He's just a very good mage, and part of the reason I took these specific paths is for our Bless. We've got Undying 6. As you can see, there's quite a lot of giant, hard-hitting nations, so having Undying 6 just makes it a little bit easier for us not to die in one hit. Enchanted Blood will help us regen up so that even by the end of the fight, and we get into Undying, we'll be welcomed back into the land of the living by that regen. Blood Surge is really great because we have a very, very killy Sacred in the Burning One. Once they get one kill, they're really just sent to high heaven with even higher attack, higher damage, and you kind of need it to be able to burn down a few of these giants. And then what's really interesting about this Bless is that we got the Stealth Bless. We also got a bit of Undead Leadership, but let's see what Stealth does for this particular nation. If you want to look at the roster, you've got some really good mages. You've got the Salamander and the Dragon. That's going to be a Recruit Anywhere mage, and both of them are Sacred, which means almost the entirety of your mage core can be stealthed in and out, into danger, out of danger. You can catch people off guard, really fight them wherever you want. And they are great leaders, so you could put stealthy troops on them, have them lead the stealthy troops, and you have a wonderful stealthy troop now in the Burning One. With the Enchanted Blood, with the Blood Surge, they're very killy. They've got high protection, high health, so the Enchanted Blood will help them ignore chip damage. And just putting 5 of these guys, backed up by a single Salamander, is enough to kill almost every PD. So you're able to stealth in these troops, have really, really hard to deal with raiding squads. You can't even very easily counter-thug, because Magic Phase you'll just sneak away. Or if they have something there already, it's going to be something that needs to be immune to 19 attack and 20-something damage from two attacks for every Burning One that they're fighting. On top of that, we went with Undead Leadership because we have a very interesting troop in the Misbred. These are really high, 26 damage battle axe. They're flying, they've got 17 hit points, and they are part Undemon, part dead, which means that you need Undead Leadership to lead them. Typically, you will not have a good answer on this nation, because you've got Warlock Apprentices and you've got Warlocks. Neither one of them have very good Undead Leadership, but they're the only Undead Leadership you have. Even with that, you typically want them, since they're cap only, to be thrown into Communions, to be blood hunting, and to be researching, all of which is relatively mutually exclusive with leading your Misbred here. But with Undead Leadership and Stealth, you can even use these Salamanders or Indie Priests, and just pick up a bunch of these Misbreds, stealth around, and catch people off guard. When you're fighting in Dominions, there's a lot of things you need to account for, and if you can catch somebody off guard even once with these flying 27 damage attacks into their back line, you can do a lot of damage just by stealthing them around on an Indie Priest. But that's the build, so let's get this turn started with a few of the messages that we see. Our research is chugging along fairly nicely. Right now we're running up Alteration. What we really want here is Darkness. We have Dark Vision, and a lot of these Macone Giants do not, so being able to get that -6 to them can just help us that much more with our efficient trades. Something else that we want, we've been very lucky with Independent Priests, with Independent Mages this turn, and we've got quite a few Lizardman Shaman, but we are unlucky enough to have some very big troop issues. A few turns ago, we lost a few hundred of our troops while killing a few hundred of these giants, so we really just need a spell such as Swarm to be able to bog up the front line while our Communions are actually able to do some damage. We've also got High Evocation up to 5, That gives us quite a few things. It also gives us the Liquid Flames, which is the national only, a few fire spells for a lot of our salamanders here. We've got Construction 5, which we're using for our assassins. We've got High Enchantment, High Thom, which as these battles play out, you'll see how I am using those research paths. We've got a little bit of sight searching, a little bit of blood hunting, and just a few fights here. We're raiding with a salamander and some independent priests, and then we actually caught Macone in a little bit of a net that we were using to catch this raiding squad. They've been raiding around with these Giganti Hoplite. They have 21 protection. In their armies, they're going to be casting Legions of Steel, bringing that up to 24, and then if they get Iron Skin and Stone Skin, their protection is really just through the moon. On top of that, they've got high hit points. This Golden Spear, which does 25 damage, has 15 attack, has a good repel, but we have the perfect troop to deal with things like that. We've got the Abyssian Burning one here. As you can see in our Dominion with our heat and our firepower, they've got 19 attack, 26 damage, 2 attacks around. They've also got 18 protection and good hit points, which means they're going to take at least 1 or 2 hits of that Golden Spear before they die. They've also got Blood Surge, which makes this damage get even higher. They've got Berserk, so they don't need to worry about Repel, and again, that'll just make the damage and attack so high that we can really even burn through that protection that's through the moon on these troops. As I said, we caught them in a net here, so we're able to get a few of these burning ones to run in, get a little bit of a surround as it fights with PD, and kill off, these expensive troops and this expensive commander that they were using to raid. We're going to really need to be looking for trades such as this in order to really keep this war going. We've also got Ghent, where we're throwing just shy of 80 Abyssian infantry just to take some PD here for a very, very important province, which you'll see why. The infantry that we're using is the Flail variant. They've got good protection, good hit points, and the Flail has 2 attack against shields and number of attacks too. Which means all of these giants, they're going to have shields, so we're going to be hitting for about 13 attack and dealing 19 damage every time we hit. We're going to have 2 swings, so that's 6 attacks per tile, and these will trade fairly efficiently even with these hard-to-kill giants. Next up, we have quite a few unexpected events. We've got a fertility cult, which as soon as we can tear a few of our troops from the war front, I would love to patrol these out. We've got good omens because we're just lucky people. Troublemakers have been rooted out. We also got an indie priest, a high priest here in an unexpected event. You may be able to notice, but I've actually been recruiting quite a few of these indie priests. A good tool that you have with the Stealth Bless on this nation is that you can really just take these indie priests. You want them because you want them for their undead leadership on your misbread. They can take even just a small group of your burning ones and bless them up. But they're also stealthy, and Holy 1, the high priest that we got from the event is Holy 2, but you can just put this into somebody else's lands, preach down their dominion, preach yours up, which you really want to be fighting in your dominion as this nation. You like the heat scales, you like being able to have the extra morale. It's just a very good tool to have on these indie priests here. So it's very nice on that unexpected event to get a high priest as well. Got some extra province income. We've actually got a fort under siege here, patrolling troops, and then we got Child of Anthrax. We're using the Worthy Heroes mod, so this showed up right at our gates, the Child of Anthrax. It is a very solid thug. It's got high protection, high hit points, and is ethereal, so it's very hard to kill. On top of that, it's got Banned Fire Shield, it's got Death 2, Fire 2, so you can do Skeletal Body and Vulnerability for a single gem. You could also do some Evocation, some Skelly Spam if you want him into a wider army. What is interesting, however, is that despite the fact that he is a ghost and that he's an Abyssian, he does not have dark vision. So in our cave system here, he's actually got really bad stats, but in the world overall, he's got pretty decent stats. He takes gear pretty well, as long as it's better than what he's currently wearing. He's just a very solid chassis in this Worthy Hero that we got here. So that is it for our messages. A bit of our scripting we have going on. We've got a few raids going on here, like this priest guy. It's a very easy to script raiding on these burning ones, just hold an attack closest, and then we have the priest back here blessing them while they run in. This will make them immune to most PD with our bless, so we can really take this province without much fear of retaliation. And you may notice as we click a few of these provinces, we have completely infested his lands with various assassins of different makes and models. And we're just going to be going to town assassinating a few of these commanders that are running around and moving their troops. We even have one demon bred here that is a really wonderful thug as well. He's in the Hall of Fame for heroic quickness, so he attacks very quick. He's got 3 attacks, high damage, high attack, and we're just going to run him into the high woods. It's a fairly safe raid. I doubt he's going to be moving any troops there anytime soon, just because it's so far out of the way. And then in the Sinkhole Swamp here, we're actually raiding with our god. we're casting a spell that is new to Dominion 6 called Project Self, which what that does, if you are unaware, is really just put a ethereal 1 HP version of the caster into that province. It attacks in the magic phase, it only lasts for one battle, and if it dies, it doesn't actually kill the caster. So it's a very safe way to really raid, to cast a few spells, or even cast some evocations and gem bait other armies. That being said, what we have set up for this one, it's just into PD. He's going to be casting Summon Earth Power just for that extra reinvig so that he can really cast till he's blue in the face. He's also got Raised Dead. That's going to be giving us 10 of these dead here. Usually you want to do Horde of Skeletons, but right now we just want something that'll tie up the PD while he casts evocations, and Raised Dead just gives you more people. And then there's a lot of cool evocations he can cast. One that I am a personal favorite of is Gifts of Heaven. It has 3 numbers of effects, 1 area of effect on each one, and then it has a massive AoE 10 AP fire damage on each of those effects. That is really good for killing giants because it deals 150 damage everywhere that this meteor hits, and you don't have to worry about the friendly fire as much on your own troops because you're immune to that 10 AP fire damage anyway. That being said, he's by himself, and 125 casting time is just not fast enough to kill some of these PD. So instead, I've got him casting this Ephemeral Blast. It deals false damage, so our Raised Dead who are holding up the front line are actually immune to the damage as well, and he's a Glamour 6 caster, so it's actually a pretty good spell to pick. It'll be Area of Effect 7, it deals 10 damage. With that, that's enough to kill most PD as they get hit with this. And its casting time 75%, so it's just a little bit more spammable as we clear out this PD here. Where he currently is a province full of these Lizardmen Shaman. I would really love to take this stack and throw it right into Hoberdurf. Sadly, we do not have the troops to back it up. We're recruiting a few more, so next turn, especially with our extra research into Alt 4, that'll give us Swarm so we can hold up a front line with just throwing some nature gems at it. That'll give us what we need to at least siege Hoberdurf this next turn and hopefully kill a few giants. We've also need to look out. They've got about 200 troops on the border here in Ghent. I expect a mid-sized force, but if they do throw everything at it, what they're going to run into is about 150 troops. We've got 70 of these Abyssian flail infantry right here to hold up the front line, some burning ones who are hold on attack closest on the flanks here. Hopefully they can get the flanks here, get a little bit of surround on these giants, and defeat in detail as they work their way in. And while they hold up all of that, we've got this massive communion. It's 16 slaves, so it's going to be a 4 magic path boost on all of our masters, and all of our masters here are casting Enslaved Mind. These giants are really good troops. They're very hard to kill, however, they've got okay magic resistance. They don't have the best, so with all of our pin here, we've got Eyes of the Voids and spell focuses on a lot of these communion masters here. Every time they cast Enslaved Mind, it's about a 50-50 chance to steal one of their giants and make it fight their friends, which is just going to be instrumental for really turning these numbers around here. We've also got a few very interesting communion masters added into the mix, such as Acid Guy. What you don't see on this chassis of the Acid Guy, the Wizard of High Magics, is that all of these Wizards of High Magics actually get 2 random paths, which I'll pull up here. As I said, I got very lucky on the independent mages that we saw in our lands. We've got not just 1, but 2 Lizardmen provinces. We've got these wonderful Garnet sorceresses here, and then we've also got these Wizards of High Magic. They are all Fire 1, which means they're very safe in our armies to be able to cast just protection from fire and then not need to worry about heat aura, and then they get 2 random paths, Astral, Earth, Water, Air, or Fire. Any of them that get Astral get thrown straight into the war machine here, because that means that we can cast all of the High Earth, High Water, High Air spells that we really want to see, and that just adds to a few more things that we can pull off and a few more things that they have to script to be able to counter. But yeah, these are really great troops, and we can throw them into our communions here, which we have done in Ghent. Right now, we have Acid Guy here. He's going to be casting Communion Master and then Quagmire. The reason I'm casting Quagmire is that we don't really need to rely on our troops to fight here. If anything, the combat speed, slowing down these giants from getting to us, is an absolute bonus. And they've also got very big encumbrance issues with these giants, especially in our high heat. So it'll just be very good to get these guys to fatigue out quickly while our Communion really backs up and does the real damage here. And then he's just going to go straight into the Enslaved Mind. After that, we've also got a lovely air random here. We've got him jumping straight into Enslaved Mind. Part of the reason we don't have gems scripted on this guy is because I do expect a mid-sized force. I don't want to show my hand too heavily, and I don't want to burn my gems, since this guy can burn just so many more gems than I can a turn with his size. So ideally, we'll catch him by surprise, try to give as little information away as we can in these mid-sized skirmishes while we run into this throne here. We've also got a Lizardman Shaman coming in for personal regen. That'll make our communion here just that much more survivable, because we may have some issues with all of these off-path castings from the Lizardman Shaman, Air Guy, and Acid Guy. We've also got something interesting going on here. We've got two of our Demon Bread with these cheapish magic items, the Wand of Wildfire. Basically, it's just a way to cast Fireball every turn. With these guys having high map move, I didn't have a full assassin kit for them, so a good use for them is just being able to throw a Fireball spammer anywhere in the theater of war that you want. It's very nice. It's very nice for that reason. They're also stealthy, and they can still be assassins if you wanna script them out. Even having Magic Scepter with Fireball is a pretty good assassin if you just put maybe some acorns or anything else of the sort on them just to hold up the enemy troops. So they're also going to be casting Fireball, and we've got some Indie Priest to bless our Burning Ones before they run in. We're also stealthing behind them a Indie Priest with a whole bunch of these Mistbred. Part of the reason the Mistbred are only stealthing in and not going to be here for the fight is because if it is a mid-sized force, I don't want to show my hand too much. And if it's a larger force, right now the Mistbred, there's 40 of them, but they do not have a leader that can put them on line and attack closest so that they don't fly in. If they fly in, they're going to fly into the back, die nearly immediately, which will just count us a little bit closer for our HP route, and they won't be able to do too much as long as their mages are protected. Having them stealth in this way can hopefully catch our enemies off guard thinking that there are no Mistbred. Maybe we'll be able to jump into the back, kill a few mages, or at the very least, we can do just a little bit of raiding, maybe jump them over into Valgard before they can really do anything to stop us. So that's what's going on in Ghent. Over here we've got a nice stack of these Lizardmen. Next turn we're going to move it into Hobergdorf, hopefully trying to initiate a few raids that they have to think about, take hold of some of the initiative here while they're taking Agartha. We've got a raiding over here in the Towers of Heaven and over into the High Woods. We've got some assassin battles going on, and we've also trying to slowly move a few of our troops up to the Northern Theater. Right now, Makone is eating Agartha, and pretty soon they're going to be raiding into our forces. We did just get this Lizardman Shaman province. We even have a palisade coming up, so we need to try to do what we can to protect it. If we're able to get a turnaround here and stop them from a throne victory, this will be a very hard-fought war, and we really need to hold on to everything that we possibly can in order to have the best chance that we do have. So, with a few of these fights that are expected to happen at least not this turn, if not this turn, then next turn, that's what we've got going on. I hope that this is a really fun blaze of glory for these last few turns before this throne rush really becomes a done deal, and I hope you enjoy the ride.